Have you ever felt like technology is moving faster than you can understand it? Like artificial intelligence, quantum computing, and genetic engineering are reshaping the world, but you're just trying to keep up? Today we're looking at 5 science and technology books that don't just explain what's happening, they help you understand why it matters and what comes next. These aren't dense textbooks. They're books written for curious people who want to grasp the ideas shaping our future. Let's start with number 5, Thinking Fast and Slow, by Daniel Kahneman. This book isn't strictly about technology, but it's absolutely essential for understanding how human brains actually work in an age of AI and data science. Kahneman spent decades studying how we make decisions, and he discovered something unsettling. We're not nearly as rational as we think we are. The book introduces 2 systems of thinking. System 1 is fast, intuitive, automatic. It's how you recognize a friend's face or react to danger. System 2 is slow, deliberate, logical. It's what you use for math or chess. The problem is we're lazy. Our brains default to System 1 even when System 2 is needed. This matters enormously for technology because it explains why we fall for misinformation online, why we're vulnerable to algorithmic manipulation, and why we make terrible decisions about data privacy. Readers especially appreciate this book if you work in tech, marketing, or anything involving human behavior. Understanding your own cognitive biases is the first step to recognizing how technology exploits them. Moving to number 4, The Codebreaker by Walter Isaacson. This is the biography of Jennifer Doudna, one of the scientists who invented CRISPR, the technology that lets us edit genes like we're correcting a typo in DNA. Isaacson doesn't just tell her life story, he explains the actual science in a way that makes sense. CRISPR is genuinely revolutionary. Before it, genetic engineering was slow, expensive, and imprecise. CRISPR changed that. Suddenly, we could potentially cure genetic diseases, eliminate certain cancers, even redesign crops to survive climate change. But with that power comes enormous ethical questions. Should we edit human embryos? Who gets access to these treatments? What happens when gene editing becomes affordable? The Codebreaker walks you through all of this, while telling the story of the brilliant, driven scientists who made it possible. It's perfect for anyone who wants to understand one of the most powerful tools humanity has ever created, and why the decisions we make about it right now will echo for generations. Number 3, Superintelligence by Nick Bostrom. This book asks a question that keeps AI researchers awake at night. What happens when we create artificial intelligence smarter than us? Bostrom isn't a doom-monger. He's a philosopher at Oxford who thinks carefully about what intelligence actually is and what happens when a system becomes radically more intelligent than humans. He explores different scenarios. Maybe AI becomes superintelligent and we maintain control. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe control is even possible. The book doesn't have answers. It has frameworks. It helps you think through the problem space. What would a superintelligent AI actually want? How would it think about human goals? If we program it to maximize human happiness, could it achieve that in unexpected and terrible ways? This is the book for anyone who wants to move past hype and fear-mongering and actually think about AI risk carefully. It's challenging, but not impossible, and it fundamentally changes how you interpret AI news. Number 2, The Selfish Gene by Richard Dawkins. This is a classic that feels more relevant than ever as we develop genetic technology and artificial life. Dawkins argues that genes, not organisms, are the fundamental unit of natural selection. Bodies are just vehicles genes use to replicate themselves. It sounds abstract, but it changes everything about how you see life. It explains cooperation, explains altruism, explains why you love your family. And crucially, it introduces the idea of memes, units of cultural information that replicate like genes do. A song, an idea, a catchphrase spreads because it's good at spreading, not always because it's true or good. This is essential reading before we enter an age of AI-generated content, synthetic media, and information designed to replicate itself rather than inform. If you understand how ideas actually spread through populations, you're much harder to manipulate. Readers love this book because it's mind-expanding and relatively short. It's been nearly 50 years, and it's still the book people reference when talking about genes, evolution, and culture. And finally, number 1, Life 3.0 by Max Tegmark. This might be the most important technology book for right now. Tegmark is an MIT physicist who thinks deeply about where technology and humanity are headed. The book divides human history into stages. Life 1.0 was biology, organisms that couldn't change during their lifetime. Life 2.0 was humans. We can learn and change ourselves. Life 3.0 is what comes next, intelligence that can not only learn, but rewrite its own code. Tegmark explores what that means for jobs, meaning, inequality, and survival. How do we navigate a world where A, I can do most human cognitive work? What's the purpose of human life in that scenario? How do we make sure AI serves humanity and not the other way around? The book is optimistic, but not naive. It acknowledges real risks while exploring real possibilities for flourishing. It's the book if you want to understand not just what's coming, but how to think about it. So here's what these 5 books have in common. They all believe that understanding science and technology isn't optional anymore. It's how you understand your own mind, your future, your species. They're not written for scientists. They're written for people who want to think clearly about a world that's changing faster than our intuition can handle. Pick one. Start with whichever question fascinates you most. And the links to all of these books are in the description below. Thanks for watching. Hit subscribe if you want more recommendations for books